For the following exponential function, first graph the function, then give the domain and range in interval notation, and finally write the equation of the asymptote. So we have an exponential expression, and that exponential function is going to have a graph that ultimately looks something like this. There's generally this horizontal asymptote at y equals 0, and then we approach the asymptote as we go to negative infinity, and then we run off to positive infinity going the other direction. And then there's this special point which is at, pardon, that's actually supposed to be 0, 1. But it's just 1 unit above the horizontal asymptote. Now, the thing is, we have a vertical shift here. This plus 1 is being added to the exponential function itself, so that shifts everything up by 1 unit, including that asymptote. So I think that's really the best part to start with. If you have a vertical shift, just begin by moving your asymptote up by 1 unit. Now, if you have any horizontal shifts, this point that's supposed to be 1 unit above the asymptote would then get shifted to the left or right. But we don't have a horizontal shift in this case, so that point's going to be right there. And we use that as a point of reference. Another point of reference, since we have a base 2 exponential function, is we go to the right one and up 1 to get another point on our exponential. And then we graph to positive infinity this direction, and then we go down to the asymptote in the other direction. And that's a very decent sketch of our exponential function. The domain and range. The cool thing about these is that it's pretty predictable what the domain and range are going to be. You might want to just memorize that every single exponential function you're going to have is going to have an unrestricted domain, so it's just negative infinity to positive infinity. The range, however, is restricted, and it's always just going to be above the asymptote. So you'd start from wherever the asymptote is, but you wouldn't include the asymptote because you never actually reach it, and then go to positive infinity. And finally, the last thing that we want to do is write the equation of the asymptote. Well, the equation of the asymptote is a horizontal line. Horizontal lines are always of the form y equals some constant. So in this case, it's just the value that you're passing through on the y-axis, which is 1 in this case. And it's really best, I think, if you're asked any of these questions, to just sketch a quick graph, because usually the graphs of these aren't difficult to sketch, and even if you're asked for the domain, the range, or the asymptote, you can get all of these pieces of information from the sketch very easily and sort of prevent any sort of errors that might happen.